Listen to me. Your next 4 months are going to be greater than your last 8 months. And I need you to receive this with your spirit because I need you to hear this and not just with your emotions. Do not judge how this year is going to end by how this year started. Don't do that because the first 8 months may have stretched you. You lost some things. You discovered some things. You had to walk away from some things. Some plans didn't always work the way you wanted. And some plans didn't happen the way you expected. Some people changed. Some doors closed in your face. Some prayers seemed delayed. And some days you were doing everything you know to do just to keep moving. But hear me. The next 4 months do not have to look like the last 8. God does not need the same amount of time it took you to lose something to restore your momentum because God can do more with 4 months of alignment than you can do with 8 months of striving. And somebody better catch that because you've been measuring your future by your past pace. You're saying, well, it took me 8 months to get here. Okay? But what happens when clarity comes? What happens when the right door opens? What happens when you finally stop wasting energy on the wrong people? What happens when the lesson you've been learning finally becomes wisdom? What happens when everything you've been developing privately finally meets the right opportunity publicly? Suddenly 4 months can produce what 8 months never could. Because sometimes the first part of the year wasn't about production, it was about preparation. I need you to hear this prophetically. You thought nothing was happening, but something was happening inside of you. Your discernment got sharper. Your standards changed. Your prayer life changed. Your confidence changed. Your circle changed. Your appetite changed. Hallelujah. You don't even desire some of the things you were begging God for in January. See, that's growth. And a lot of times we don't think about that. And maybe you didn't lose 8 months. Maybe you spent 8 months becoming the person who can handle what the next 4 months require. Think about that. Because we count progress by what we can show. God often measures progress by what has changed inside of us. You might not have the house yet. You might not have the business where you want it yet. You might not have the relationship yet. You might not have the money yet. You might not have the platform yet. But you're wiser. You're stronger. You're more disciplined. See, that's things we don't talk about. You're more focused. You're harder to manipulate. You're quicker to recognize distractions. You're learning when to speak and when to be quiet. You're learning that every invitation isn't an opportunity and every connection isn't covenant. You may not have everything you want yet, but you're not who you were 8 months ago. And that's why you cannot enter these next 4 months carrying the mentality of the last 8. You survived the lesson. You use the wisdom. Are you hear me? You got to use the wisdom now. Don't go back to what God brought you out of because you're lonely. Don't reopen doors because you're impatient. Don't lower your standards because the promise hasn't shown up yet. Don't abandon discipline because results haven't appeared fast enough. Don't dig up what you planted just because you can't see it growing yet. I need somebody to hear this because some things grow underground before they ever become visible. And that's where some of you have been underground, developing, building, healing, learning, praying, come on, working, and wondering, God, when is something going to change? Listen to me. There is a difference between nothing happening and nothing being visible. Ooh. Just because you can't see movement doesn't mean there hasn't been movement. A seed doesn't look successful when it's underground, but give it time. Because what looks buried in one season can break ground in another. And I believe these next 4 months need to be months of intentionality. Receive this. Don't just think about it or talk about greater, prepare for greater. Like you got to look for it. If you're praying for greater finances, strengthen your stewardship. If you're praying for greater influence, strengthen your character. If you're praying for greater relationship, become healthier yourself. If you're praying for greater doors, become the person who can remain in the room after the door opens. Because hear me, greater isn't just something you receive. Greater is something you have to be ready to manage. Because everybody wants acceleration, but acceleration without preparation can become destruction. So maybe these last 8 months slowed you down because God was developing something that speed couldn't teach you. Hallelujah. Speed can't teach you patience. Speed can't teach you discipline, discernment, character. consistency. Speed can't teach you wisdom. Because where you're going, talent alone won't keep you there. And here's something else I want you to think about. Stop being embarrassed about what didn't happen this year. You're not behind. Your life is not over. Your opportunity hasn't expired. We have a bad habit of creating imaginary deadlines for God. Like we say, I thought I have it by now. I thought I'd be further by now. I thought the business would be bigger by now. I thought I'd be married by now. I thought I would have more money by now. According to who? Stop allowing a calendar to convince you that God has run out of time. 4 months is plenty of time for your life to look completely different. One conversation can change your direction. One idea can change your income. One introduction can change your network. One decision can change your family. One act of obedience can put you on a road you never imagined traveling. And that's why you cannot mentally check out of this year, because the first 8 months didn't look like you expected. The year is not over just because you're tired. Get your expectation back. Get your discipline back. Get your focus back. Get your consistency back. Finish what you started. Write the plan. Make the call. Submit the application. I know somebody receiving this. Record the video. Launch the idea. Start saving. Start building. Start praying again. Start believing again. And this time, don't carry everybody with you. Because some of what slowed you down during the last 8 months was unnecessary weight. You were trying to drag people into places they had no desire to go, trying to convince people to believe in what God showed you, trying to maintain relationships that were draining the very energy you needed for your assignment. But these next 4 months, travel light. I said travel lighter. Less explaining, more executing, less announcing, more building, less comparison, more creating, less worrying about who's watching. More attention to what God told you, because the goal isn't simply to have a better 4 months. The goal is to become a better you during these 4 months. And when December comes, I want you to be able to look back and say, I understand now. I understand why January stretched me. Hallelujah. I understand why February tested me. I understand why certain doors had to close in March. I understand why certain people disappeared in April. I understand why I had to become disciplined in May. I understand why God wouldn't let me settle in June. Because the first 8 months were developing something that the final 4 months were going to require. Listen to me. Don't worship the number 4. Don't put your faith in the calendar. Put your faith in God and put your hands back on the assignment. Because prophetic expectation should never produce laziness. It should produce preparation. Pray like God can do the impossible, and work like the opportunity could knock on your door tomorrow. Your next 4 months can be greater than your last 8 months. Greater wisdom, hallelujah. Greater peace, greater discipline, greater clarity, greater obedience. I speak this prophetically over your life. Greater opportunities, greater relationships, greater stewardship, greater impact, and greater understanding of who God created you to be. So don't you dare write this year off. Don't write it off. There is still time to build. Still time to heal, still time to grow, still time to obey, still time to become, still time for doors to open that you weren't even knocking on. And when you look back, you may discover something powerful. The first 8 months didn't disqualify you from greater. They prepared you forward. So lift up your head, look back in, and get ready to finish stronger than you started. Because your testimony may very well be, it took me 8 months to prepare. But what God did is more than what I asked for.